All right, what's going on, Sooner Nation? We had a depressing weekend after losing Jim Knowles as our potential defensive coordinator to Penn State, but there was still a junior weekend, and we've yet to talk about some of the things that have came out of the junior weekend, including an elite four-star defensive end prediction to Oklahoma. We'll get to that one here in a second. We also got to talk about some other great news that came from the recruits that were there. Before we dive into it, as always, I want to hear from y'all, so join the discussion. Jump in the comments below, give me your thoughts. If you are new to the channel, make sure you wipe your feet, hit that subscribe button. 65% of you that watch these videos, you're not subscribed, but you potentially come back because you see this pretty face here. I know you ain't coming back for this one. So hit that subscribe button, help keep the channel free, and let's go ahead and let's jump into it. So, of course, the first place we have to start today was a recruiting prediction put in by Rivals national recruiting analyst Sam Spiegelman for the four-star defensive end Kevin Ford Jr. out of Duncanville High School. Now, for those who really don't follow recruiting a whole lot, or you're kind of just a casual there, well, Duncanville High School is not a high school where Oklahoma wins a ton out of. So going out there and getting a guy like Kevin Ford Jr. out of Duncanville High School would be enormous for the Oklahoma Sooners. Not to mention, if you guys really paid attention to Texas and how well they played this year, one of their biggest success stories this year was Colin Simmons, the former five-star defensive end coming out of Duncanville High School. So Duncanville kind of knows a thing or two about shaping and molding those defensive ends. But one of the things, interestingly enough, about Kevin Ford is, and when you watch his film, he's an incredible athlete. I think he has a wicked first step, but comes in at 6'3", 240 pounds. I believe 247 has a 245, but the Covered Wagon set him in at 240. He has 31 total offers. So it's not like he doesn't have offers from everybody around the country. I mean, I think he just picked one up today from the University of Georgia. But Gabe Brooks, the 247 Sports scouting analyst, these are the guys that give the guys their rankings throughout the year, talks about how he possesses the frame capacity to fill as a wide defensive end or a strong side defensive end in the long term, flashes stack and shed strength at the point of attack, has power in his hands to jar blockers, particularly in the run game, shows arc running instincts and corresponding functional athleticism as a pass rusher. So you look at Kevin Ford Jr., you look at what he's been able to do in his high school career, absolute monster on the defensive side of the ball. Let me read you guys some of these stats. 110 total tackles, 62 solos, 9.5 sacks, 30 tackles for loss, 33 QB hurries. And I think, remember, that's a stat that not a lot of people, look at too much. But I'm telling you right now, the QB hurries matters a ton on the defensive line because that tells you that they didn't get to the quarterback, but it tells you how many times they applied pressure to the quarterback, got them uncomfortable and flushing out of the pocket. So if you asked me today if Kevin Ford would end up at Oklahoma, I definitely think the odds could be in Oklahoma's favor. Now, he is going to be going to Alabama on February 1st. He did tell me that everything right now is open, but he's looking at potentially narrowing down this list of schools sometime after the spring. And if Oklahoma could get him on campus for the spring game, that would be huge. But it was a great weekend, huge success for Oklahoma, especially getting Kevin Ford on campus. And then you see a prediction come out like this for Oklahoma, and you match that up with now I think it's 6 unofficial visits that he's had. This is a big time. This would be a big time get for Oklahoma if they end up landing him. Now, another guy that I want to talk about that was on campus this week, somebody that I think definitely could end up in Oklahoma's class. I really like him as a prospect. If you guys heard me last night talking about him on Jay's show, that is Aljor Miles, the 6'2", 200-pound wide receiver out of Kaufman, Texas. Now, Aljor Miles, I think, could be the Emmanuel choice of this class in terms of what he's able to bring, especially because of where he's ranked. But really got a chance to, and I wrote all this down, and of course, I can't get it pulled up. So bear with me for 1 second. All right. So I got a chance to catch up with Aljor Miles, and I kind of just asked how this past weekend went. He said the visit was great. OU was easily in the top 3 of his recruitment. So I kind of followed that up with, what schools outside of Oklahoma are pushing really hard? Because that's always kind of a telling sign. He's got USC, Texas Tech, SMU, Stanford, Northwestern. And then I asked him, just kind of about his commitment timeline and, if there was any unofficial or official currently planned. He says, I will be committing after I finish all of my OVs this summer, and I have only SMU and Kansas scheduled for my OV so far. Now, Oklahoma was one of the first schools to be able to go in and offer him, and it's 6'2", 200 pounds he's not the most speedy wide receiver. If he could work on that a little bit, this dude will be a dynamic athlete. But I definitely think this is a guy that could get into, 4-star territory, maybe top 250 players in the country by the time this recruiting cycle is all said and done. He's been to Oklahoma 4 times. So again, if you're one of those people that likes to follow the unofficial visits, this one's kind of a telling sign. Now, additionally, you had some other big-time prospects on campus this weekend. One by the likes of Caden Jones, Mason James, and then, of course, your 4-star quarterback, Jaden O'Neal as well. And, of course, you saw this picture from Caden Jones. My goodness. I want to say Katie James because I'm talking about Mason James too. Katie Jones, you saw this picture floating out there from him of all three of them. Looks like they're serving food or something out here. These are 3 guys that, listen, they want to play with each other. It's no secret. Now, Caden Jones, he's released the top 5. It's got the likes of Tennessee and Kansas and teams like that in there. For Mason James, right, you're looking at schools like Alabama and Tennessee as being real threats in that recruitment. Obviously, Oklahoma is the consistent factor in all of those. Josh Heupel's going to want to recruit the state well, especially, have played at Oklahoma, understands kind of what the state can do for him. So I think they both land here. I just think that these recruitments will probably drag on a little longer than I think some people want. But interestingly enough, a guy that I did not see on campus or did not hear about being on campus was Chancellor Barkley, but he included Oklahoma as one of the 4 schools that will be getting an official visit from him. And again, this is big because Oklahoma needs to have a big year on the interior of the offensive line. You had a big year at the offensive tackle spot. This has to be the year where you get a couple really good guys at guard and kind of, get one of those guys that could probably be a bona fide, starter for you here in a couple of years. So he's going to be going to Clemson on May 30th through June 1st, Florida, June 6th through the 8th, Georgia, June 13th to the 15th. And it looks like for now, Oklahoma will be getting his final official visit June 20th through the 22nd. But 6'3.5", 285 pounds out of Orlando, Florida. Got a total of 26 offers. Of course, you see his offer list here, and it starts right off the bat with nothing but banger offers. So a guy that can go out there and completely pancake dudes, which, by the way, when you look at some of these wide receivers and they talk about how many pancakes they got, that tells you want a guy like that. So Chancellor Barkley, interior offensive lineman, 6'3.5", 285 pounds. Now since he's taking an official visit to Oklahoma, you're going to see a lot of these show up. But I want to hear from y'all, so make sure you join the discussion. Jump in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think. And if you guys have not already and you guys are new to the channel, wipe your feet, hit that like, and hit that subscribe button.